G'day guys, kia ora, my name is Wildkard, welcome back to my channel. Thank you for watching the Wildcard Rugby Show. Like, comment and subscribe, and yes, you are here today because if you're an All Black fan, you're probably not too happy about this result. If you're an Italian fan, you're probably feeling a lot better about your prospects going into the rugby, into the Six Nations coming up next year. Big improvements from the Italians throughout the entire November international series. Really fronted up physically this game against the All Blacks. Really well done at breakdowns, and yeah, just defensively was quite good, but offensively, yeah, just couldn't quite get themselves over the line. Maybe lacked a little bit of ideas when they were really close to the try line, and just probably a bit too conservative with some of those attempts at goal. Did able to put a lot of pressure on the All Blacks, forcing a yellow card due to repeated penalties, which is always good. And yeah, this is interesting. Where do you go from here? You have, redeemed yourself to some extent. Your 96 points to what? 96 points to 10? What was it? Loss to the All Blacks at the Rugby World Cup. But is this, you kind of want to, I hate when people come out and say, oh, that's a good effort. I think that regardless of the team, the expectation is for them to win. Italians, despite the improvement, I don't think that not winning is really in sport. Not winning really should never be considered good enough for any team. But improvement is an improvement. I was hoping that there was potentially be an upset on the table, especially considering the All Blacks played a pretty. I thought it was a pretty sloppy game. A lot of the players just didn't look like they were in it. It is the last game of the season. Maybe the players were a bit fatigued. It is the last game, international test game for Sam Kang and potentially TJ Piranara. Sam Kang has announced retirement. TJ is going over to Japan, so he might come back at some point. Not completely out of the picture, I guess. But it is one of the things where it was just sloppy, and you can just tell the All Blacks really weren't in it. They weren't in it. Kind of just want to, like when they took that 3 points early in the game, the first opportunity they had, that I immediately felt that they were. It's almost like a culture thing now for the team, that they didn't really have the confidence. They weren't mentally prepared to put the hammer down for a big game, and they just kind of like wanted to walk out of this one and be grateful that they won it. And that was the the feeling I had when they called that penalty. Sure enough, that was kind of the feeling I got throughout the entire game. The scrum was overwhelmingly dominant for the All Blacks, and I thought if this was a Springboks, for example, with the dominant scrum, they would have squeezed that for as many points as they can, and they would have. Yeah, they did try that. The All Blacks did try to squeeze the scrum a little bit, but I just think that they didn't have anything to follow up. There was so many sloppy drop balls, and the commitment and the breakdown was just not there, getting turned over multiple times, very close to the try line. And I think that this is the last game of the season. They got the Super Rugby season coming up, and some time to work out some of the kinks going into next season, next year. But I don't know if any of the All Black fans will be happy with that, with this performance. So, in addition to that, Beauden Barrett was once again placed at 10. A fairly conservative performance from Beauden Barrett today. Again, his goal kicking, I guess the positive is that his goal kicking seems to be getting better. There was a time where he was not able to kick goals, and he had hand over the duties to another guy. His goal kicking has been getting better, showing like maturity in his own personal development. But I just think, again, why is Damien McKenzie being left on the bench to come on and just really not giving him an opportunity to get into the game? I think Damien McKenzie is one of the players that you really need to get him into the game for him to be good. Coming off the bench, in an ideal situation, he's going to come on and make an impact with his speed and accuracy with his kicking game and the counter attack abilities. He's just not. He's not someone that can get into the game immediately. You need a bit of time for him to build into his rhythm. And then once he gets into the rhythm, he's absolutely spectacular, like he's shown against the Irish a few weeks ago. So yeah, the I thought Bowden again wasn't very clicking. A lot of I can't really blame it all on Bowden on this performance, but I just think that it's sooner than later. Scott Robinson needs to shift the focus towards Tammy McKenzie and give him a bit more opportunity, especially with games like this where the chance of you losing is pretty low. Got to give him that opportunity to continue to build, especially it's continue to build towards the future. So yeah, let me know your thoughts about the game. Let me know your thoughts about its assessment. And obviously, it wouldn't be a famous All Black game without Scotty Barrett getting a yellow card. I thought this was probably not deservingly a yellow card. He did a croc roll, did not land on the player's leg, wasn't even close to landing on the player's leg. I thought it was probably just a penalty for a croc roll, but he did kind of pull the player down with a lot of weight, with his body. It depends on how the World Rugby will like to they need to kind of clarify exactly what the line is, what situation. I know for me, if you land on the leg, should be a red card, right? Straight up 20-minute red card. If you accidentally maybe brush the leg, you try to roll away, and you accidentally maybe land on it or whatever, then it's just a yellow card. And then I think that if you just do a croc roll without landing on the leg at all, I think it should just be a penalty. I think that should be a clear-cut decisions there. And I thought Scotty did not make any contact with the leg with the roll. Hardly any contact with the leg of the roll, and maybe a little bit. I thought maybe just the penalty was sufficient here. And it is a interesting new area how they want to adjudicate this. I do agree this is a dangerous move, but I think they need to be a little bit clearer on the severity of some of these moves, because sometimes it's like I've talked about many times, the roll itself is not that dangerous. Landing on someone is not that dangerous, but it's the roll in conjunction with landing on someone's leg that's causing the injuries. That's what that's literally how they defined a hip drop tackle in rugby league and in the NFL, and that's something that that is the conjunction of the two moves that makes it dangerous. So they need to kind of make a bit more, I think, clarification on that when it comes to World Rugby decisions. So yeah, let's have a look at the match stats of the game. Italy 1 try, 219 run meters to All Blacks 453, 146 carries to the All Blacks, the Italy's 85, 18 turnovers against Italy and 15 against the All Blacks. So considering your overwhelming dominance, that's a lot of turnover there for the All Blacks team. Tackles made, 165 tackles made by the Italians, 31 missed tackles. All Blacks only 9 missed tackles at 104. This comes down to both good defensive efforts from the All Blacks, but also I think the Italian attacks was probably a bit too predictable, too one-dimensional there a little bit as well. 22 kicks in play for the Italians, 21 for the All Blacks, 447 kick meters for the Italians, and 485 for the All Blacks. The lineouts are quite clunky for both teams. 3 lineouts lost for the Italians, 3 losses for the All Blacks. Something that I think, again, has never really been great, the All Blacks lineout. Again, there was a bit exposed. Scrummaging, completely one-sided. There was one call against the All Blacks in the first half with De Groot. I think De Groot might have slipped in that one, but there was overwhelming dominance from start to finish. Penalties after penalties for the All Blacks team. And finally, penalties considered, 13 penalties against the Italians, including a yellow card for repeated penalties at the scrum. That's a really tough decision, because obviously if you are under pressure in a scrum and you're getting pushed up because of the All Blacks hooker, whether it be Ethan De Groot or Tyra or Ofa Tuangafasi getting underneath you, not really what much you can do other than getting pushed out. And to get sent off for that, I thought it was a little bit harsh. I thought the referee probably could have just let that go. I get it, if they're repeatedly giving away penalties like that, you have to make a point. But I thought it was just really, really tough. Like, it's not much, not too much you can do when you're under so much pressure. The All Blacks given away 11 penalties. on the sloppy end, 2 yellow cards. Scotty Barrett got one, and then Anton Leonard-Brown got one for repeated team penalties close to their own try line. So like a technical penalty there while playing the ball on the ground. So yeah, overall, probably lackluster compared to what people were expecting. But let's go through some of the moments of the game. Yeah, it took about, it took about 10 minutes for the Italian to actually get the first points on the board. Both teams were kind of going back at a very good defense, very conservative at about the first 10 minutes. Finally, the Italians kicked a 50-22 from a turnover, and then followed that up with a line out, and then a penalty from the Maul, and then they kicked 3 points to get themselves 3 points ahead. 14 minutes into the game, there was a penalty to the All Blacks. Beauden Barrett kicked this one to re-level the score. I mean, this is what I mean. You are expected to win. Like, yeah, I thought they needed to kick themselves into another gear after being down, not to just try to hang on, right? Like, let's just hang on. I thought the All Blacks' response here wasn't an adequate response. Right from the kickoff, All Blacks players were penalized for blocking the receiver, and then immediately a penalty, and then Italy kicking another 3, 6 points to 3. And then 90 minutes into the game, finally the All Blacks get a yellow card from Scotty Barrett, and then it's almost like, oh, we are in a game of rugby, time to play. All Blacks actually played a bit more adventure with the play in the bin. So they had a penalty. There was, I think there was a penalty, and then they kind of like went for the line out, went for the move, built a lot of pressure, and eventually they were like inside the 22, despite with the player missing. The Italian defense was under a lot of pressure. Cameron Royger looked up, saw a gap, pick and go himself, just dart through for the try. 6 points to 10. So with a play in the bin, the All Blacks actually look more dangerous, actually look more determined, actually look like All Blacks team playing out there. 6 points to 10 for the All Blacks. And then 38 minutes into the game, again, once Scotty came back onto the field, it was almost like everybody's just like, oh, let's taking a break, taking a bit of breather. 38 minutes into the game, finally, it took the All Blacks some nice play from Beauden. This was actually a really, really good pass from Beauden. The rush defense came through, and he put this like nice pinpoint accurate pass, picked up like a little cut out pass to Will Jordan, who ran through a gap, and then a lot of players followed through, and eventually Jordan ended up going into the corner for the try that he kind of created in the first place. 6 points to 17 going into halftime. Second half, there was Italy came out with a lot more grit, realizing they're in a fight. They put pressure on. They were pretty much camped inside the All Blacks 22 for a very prolonged period of time. 49 minutes in, there was a lot of repeated penalties. Eventually, Anton Leonard-Brown got sent off for a yellow card. But despite the play in the bin, the All Blacks seems to actually kick into another gear. Was able to actually hold out the Italians without giving away further yellow cards and diffusing the situation. 66 minutes into the game, the Italians were under pressure despite the All Blacks. Under pressure from the All Blacks scrum standing up, and eventually the referee giving out a yellow card for the reserve prop coming on for standing up in the scrum. I thought it was a bit tough. 69 minutes in the game, there was again an All Black scrum, a little bit of a mess. The ball came out again, poor handling left and right, but eventually the ball was scooped up by Beauden, I think it was, and he threw it over the top to Talea, who went into the corner for the try. 6 points to 24 for the All Blacks. 75 minutes into the game, the commentator was kind of like the game's over, but the Italians did a little crossfield kick, and again, very poor commitment from the All Blacks. Talea kind of just like haphazardly smacked the ball backwards, and then the ball just bounced off the ground. One of the Italian players scooped up some good hands, and the number 12 Menicello goes in for the Italian try. 13 points to 24. At this point, the Italians was kind of just throwing the kitchen sink at it. They really needed to kick this this conversion, but what's his name? Sorry, not 31 points, 11 points to 24. They missed the conversion. 11 points to 24. And then the Italians were kind of like, yeah, let's just go for one last haymaker. 78 minutes in the game, there was the All Blacks advancing 5 meters out from their own try line. The ball went out. Italy decided to throw a quick line out, 5 meters short, they not only they did a quick line out, but they tried to do a little chip over the top to from the quick line out immediately, and then it was the chip over was read perfectly by Beauden Barrett. He just basically caught the ball and ran down the sideline. The chaser completely misses the tackle on Beauden. Just a freebie for Beauden Barrett to score. 11 points to 29 was the final score for the All Blacks. And let me know your thoughts about this game. Let me know your thoughts about Scott Robinson's performance this year. And I think that the culture shift needs to be a little bit more adventurous from the All Blacks. It's way too conservative the way they play. Even if you watch some of the Super Rugby teams from the Blues, Hurricanes, they all play a lot more adventurous than this. This is almost like the Chiefs style of rugby in New Zealand. Just milk penalties, try to squeeze out every point as they could. Super conservative, and I think that if the All Blacks wants to return to the glory days, they want it to be a little bit more adventurous, and especially with the talents that they have, they can definitely afford to do that and kick themselves into another gear. So yeah, let me know your thoughts, guys. Like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you guys later for the Wallabies review. And thanks for watching. Cheers.